For more on what's at stake on the global stage in the wake of Iran's attack on Israel, we are joined by Jamil Jaffer, founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. Thank you so much for being with us here on Scripps News. Iran threatening the U.S. for any role in last night's events. How worried should the United States be at this point?
Well, this is part of the challenge. It appears the administration is going to respond to that threat by Iran by not engaging. We've made clear, now the president's made clear that we won't participate in any offensive operation against Iran, essentially acceding to Iran's wishes and warning to us to not get involved. I think that's a mistake. I think the U.S. should be more forward-leaning in backing our allies. And if, in fact, Israel decides to go forward with an offensive response, the U.S. should be part of that, particularly given the deaths that we've seen at the hands of Iranian forces of U.S. soldiers.
Do you think that further emboldens Iran with the U.S. putting hands up a little bit here?
I do worry about that. I think that, consistently Iran has seen the U.S. unwilling to engage directly with it, even after it's killed our soldiers. We've taken action against its proxies, even after it's attacked U.S. ships in the Red Seas. We take action against proxies. Iran is now hitting Israel directly from its borders. Israel and the U.S. should consider seriously hitting back in a calibrated strike.
Now talking diplomacy here, the G7 meeting is today. What do you expect to come out of that?
Well, I think you'll see the G7, including the United States, pushing for a limited response, a diplomatic response, not an offensive response. Their goal is to tamp down any further conflict. That makes sense. But of course, the challenge is this is a conflict brought on by Iran's direct action against Israel, against the United States and our allies for now going on over a decade.
And National Security Council spokesman John Kirby joined Meet the Press to discuss Iran's retaliatory attack on Israel. We want to listen to a little bit of what he had to say.
And also, Israel demonstrated again, as I said, that they're not standing alone, that they have friends. So the president's been clear. We don't want to see this escalate. We're not looking for a wider war with Iran. I think the coming hours and days will tell us a lot.
Your take on his comments there?
Well, there's no doubt nobody wants a wider war, not Iran, not the United States, not Israel. At the same time, Iran did launch over 300 weapons at Israel, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones. If they wanted to get engaged in a limited strike, they should have done a limited strike. That's not what they did. Now, Israel is very successful in knocking it down. That doesn't mean it doesn't deserve a response.
And what do you expect to come as far as an Israeli response? Do you think Israel will go big here or make, small, more precise attacks or retaliatory response to continue this kind of teetering that we're seeing?
I think Israel will want to not engage in a massive response. They'll want to demonstrate that they're going to push back again. To the extent they do, they may even take their time and engage in responses within Iran, taking out senior leaders, as they have in the past with the nuclear program. So we'll see. It may be a calibrated response, probably the right answer for Israel and the United States to the extent that we do get involved, which it appears clear that we won't, unfortunately.
And what about Gaza here? I mean, does this put events there into the background? And is this spreading Israel too thin, fighting on two fronts here?
Look, I think Israel's ready to defend itself in whatever way it needs to, and the United States will back it in that defense. I think the question becomes now, how does the war in Gaza end? How do you bring this to a close? That ultimately has to involve the repatriation of the 100+ remaining hostages, as well as the ultimate, destruction of Hamas. That's still a ways off. That's going to take some more fighting. It's not over for a while.
Certainly going to be doing a lot of waiting and to see what happens in the hours and days to come. Jamil Jaffer, founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, thank you so much for your time this morning.